We know when we're going to eat next.
Yeah.
We know that feeling is going to come to an end relatively soon because we can provide that for ourselves, whether it's in the next half hour. But to not know when that, there's 65 hours from lunch on Friday until breakfast on Monday. And to have that be an unknown 65 hours, that's pretty stressful.
That conversation to me was kind of set me off in a positive way of like, what are we doing? Like, there's a lot going on in the world right now, but what are we doing to, like, as a community if we're not doubling down on making sure that our kids are taken care of?
By being a part of this and getting the word out, that it trickles down to other parts of people's lives, that they see that not only is this an issue, but there's other issues. And like I said earlier, like what are we doing here if we can't help one another?
Hey, what's going on, friends? Welcome back to another episode of the Love Local Chicagoland podcast. We built Love Local for a reason, and I think you're going to see a big reason why we're doing it during this show. You see, we're pulling together community collaborations of Blessings in a Backpack, the Chicago chapter, and Spunky Dunkers, my friends. Everybody knows who Spunky Dunkers is, and if you don't know, get out from underneath your rock and go check out the best donut shop. To me, this side of the Mississippi, my friends, are located in Palatine, Illinois, and they make some amazing donuts, but they got big hearts too. Been around for quite some time. They're a staple within the northwest suburbs. People travel to come see them, but they also give back, and they believe that just like us, that we're stronger together, and when we work together and we support each other within our niches, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. You see, today we're going to be talking about childhood hunger. And actually, some of you might not know just how huge of an opportunity we have within our local communities and how many kids are going home on Fridays not knowing what they're going to eat on the weekends. I don't know about you, but that's kind of bullshit. If we're here as community members, there's things we can't control in our world, and there's things that we can control in our world. What we can control in our world is us coming together as neighbors and as community members to make sure that no kid has the fear of not having food on the weekends. Can you imagine that? As a poor kid myself, I always had food. I was grateful. I had some family around me that made sure that I was taken care of. But I saw a lot, and I saw how it impacts kids. You don't know where your next meal is coming from. It's a different type of feeling. It's a different type of trauma. And I'm guessing that many of you may know or may not know. So I'm going to ask that you stay and listen. This collaboration is going to be one that's going to start the movement, my friends. And here, we're going to make sure that kids have the food that they need. And we're going to do it with donuts. And we're going to do it with Blessings in a Backpack in collaboration. First person I want to introduce you to is Elizabeth. She's become a true friend. And she is a big part of Blessings in a Backpack Chicago. We've collaborated with her recently with the Cork and the Fireside Chat. So you may know her already. But I'm going to introduce you to her so that she can tell you a little bit about herself. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's do this. We're back again.
I know.
We could do like this, right? Like a pound?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So thank you so much for being here. So you're with Blessings in a Backpack.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about Blessings in a Backpack right off the bat.
Absolutely, yeah. Blessings in a Backpack is a national organization. I am with the Chicago chapter. Nationally, we feed 90,000 kids every Friday of the school year. Here in Chicagoland, we're feeding about 6,400 kids every Friday of the school year. In Chicago proper, as well as the 5 collar counties. In Palatine, where Spunky Dunkers is, we're feeding 600 kids every Friday of the school year. In the northwest suburbs, that's right around 2,000, and then 6,400.
Yeah, we kind of know the stats about Palatine, right? How many kids are in need? You're feeding around 600, but how many kids are in need roughly?
So we're feeding 600 right now. There's close to 7,000 kids in the Palatine School District that are eligible for free lunch.
So that's a deficit, is what I'm hearing you say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a big part of the reason why we're here, and that's why we kind of brought in the big guns, like no pun intended when you see him. But with Frank with Spunky Dunker, you're laughing. It's funny. I didn't make a joke. You just laughed. I like this. But it's Spunky Dunker. It's a staple in our community. We're gonna introduce Frank. But his mom, his aunt, built it up, and he is a big part of it now. Helps him with their social media, but it's the heart of the family. That's super impressive to me. That they keep showing up, giving and loving and supporting in their local community, and they do it with donuts. So that's all I'm going to say. But Frank, dude, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up?
Yeah,
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure, man. So glad to have you here in the studio. We've collaborated before.
Yeah.
We have a lot of ideas together.
We do.
Yeah. But it's
No
usually,
shortage of ideas.
No shortage of ideas, but it usually comes from a place of like love
Yeah.
and hearts and wanting to do cool shit.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
the end of the day. So tell us, if people that don't know, that's been under a rock, tell us a little bit about Spunky Dunker.
Wow, it's been in my family. My mom and my aunt bought it back in 86. Excuse me. And so we've had it since. My mom and my aunts are probably about 2 years away from calling it a day, and then I'm the only one left in the family.
The sole heir.
I'm the sole heir. Yeah.
That's a gift.
Yeah. So in 2 years, they're gonna sail away, and then we'll continue to roll. But no, I mean we're very fortunate. You know, the community. If we can give back to the community, we always want to give back to the community. You know, our customers are everything. You know, and I think for us, we've always been wanting to give back, but I think during COVID, when we were having such a hard time, and people were just having a hard time in general of just their everyday lives, you know, how do I get through this? How do I do this? And then not to mention business owners, you know. So during that time, I came up with this idea, this post, and it just got a lot of traction, and we got really busy. And within a week, we were able to go back to normal business hours. We were able to pay our employee, go back to regular full staff and everything like that. It was just the outpouring of love that the community showed us was not lost on us. And even though, you know, it's 5 years later now, you know, we still are, if we have the opportunity, give back. Like that's the number one focus. And when we talk about kids with us too, you know, that's near and dear to my heart. You know, I have 3, you know, you know, I know you have a couple,
Yeah.
and then Jason, you have 2. A hungry kid is not okay with me,
No.
and it's not okay with my family. And so when this was brought to my attention, it wasn't a matter of, well, let me think. It was like, yes, let's get started. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Elizabeth asked me, she's like, do you know anybody at Spunky Dunkers? Like, of course I know somebody at Spunky Dunkers.
Yeah.
And I gave you a call, and you were, like, right in it. Like, yeah, absolutely. I think we talked on the phone for, like, an hour, which is usually our MO.
Yeah,
I
that's how
think
we
we're
do
both
it.
empathic and are into our own degrees. And we could dream and build with our hearts for the greater good in our own unique ways. And that conversation, to me, was kind of set me off in a positive way of like, what are we doing? Like, there's a lot going on in the world right now, but what are we doing to, like, as a community, if we're not doubling down on making sure that our kids are taken care of? Talking with you when we collaborated with the Cook, Cork, and Fork, or AKA the Cork now with the new wine bar they have going on, I learned so much about the need in our communities for the kids. And I'm like, as a poor kid myself, like I mentioned in the intro, it's like, no, like we're better than this. Our world has become really transparent now. So like now that we know this, now that we can create
no
collective
excuse.
like this, there's no excuse. And if you don't want to help, then actually you're probably part of the issue. So like let's get better together and let's go stronger as community members to be able to support each other and help each other. And you, my friend, we're like, let's fucking do this, man.
Yeah.
Like I got this idea and this idea and this idea. What made you want to be a part of it? Not just as a business owner, but as a human being?
Well, like I said earlier, one hungry child is not okay in my book. I mean, it just doesn't sit with me. You know, kids in need is something that affects us all, whether you want to see it or not. It's unfortunate if you can't, but it does affect you. You know, these kids that are hungry, they're in these classes, they can't, you know, verbalize why they're acting out. Teacher has to take time away from, you know, teaching the class to attend to these kids' needs, you know, and they can't say, well, I'm just hungry. You know, they don't have those verbal skills, you know. So that goes to the people that don't think they're affected. Well, you are, because your kids are in these schools with these children, and it's not okay. So, you know, when you ask me what made me want to get involved with this, that exactly anything with kids where we're trying to make them better. You know, like I'm wearing this shirt right here today. And again, this is about kids in Chicago that are they take off the streets and they teach them wrestling, and they're getting tutored, they're getting fed. These guys go on to get scholarships. So again, for me, my heart is all about taking care of kids, helping, and especially in the community, you know.
So you guys, I mean, you show up regularly to give back, and I mean, it to me, like, this isn't your first rodeo.
No.
When it comes to giving back, and you make donuts sometimes when you're bringing together the community for a cause.
Yeah.
Where did the idea to be able to like make donuts for a cause come from? Because I know that's something that excited Elizabeth. She was like, we could have our own blessings in a backpack donut. Jason, you gotta connect me to Frank.
Well, this is gonna be a silly answer actually, because what my mom and my aunt are very, they're getting better with the computer stuff and things like that. But we had to change our registers to more of like a touch screen, itemized type of register that allows for quicker transactions and credit card usage and stuff like that. But because they did that a few years ago, it allowed us to itemize each individual donut. So I think it was a couple years ago, it was brought to my attention, Fremden Palatine had this idea of wanting to do some kind of competition between Fremden and Palatine, and the money was all for brain cancer awareness. Brain cancer
with Cindy Ike, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a local Palatine
so
resident.
they're like, what do you think? And I'm like, full of ideas. So I was like, I was talking to the athletic director there. Numerous emails back and forth, and I came up with a Frem donut and a Palatine donut. And when I was able to present that check to them, and having my son there with me to see that firsthand, to him, I think for us as parents, we always want to think like, you know, our kids think of us as this, you know, their hero or whatever. But when they get to be teenagers, that shine wears off. It's like, this is just my dad. He doesn't know anything. But to have him there for that night, and he was a teenager and he was going to that school at the time. When we walked out of there, he was like, Dad, that was amazing. That was the coolest thing ever. And I said to him, Oliver, we have a unique position to where Grandma and Aunt Sherry have built up a business that allows us to do stuff like that. And what I wanted you here to see is because this is what it's about. You know, it's not lost on this. This is our community, and we have to help people. So it started with being able to itemize that particular donut on the on the register. So when Beat the Streets came to me, and I'm like, what are your colors? Let's do this. Designed the donut went on the register, and every single cent that we generated from that donut went to Beat the Streets, which is a wonderful organization, and it's all about the kids as well. So when this came up, I was like, hey man, I've done this rodeo before. It's awesome. Let me tell you what I got.
The fact that you don't just view it as an opportunity, but as your responsibility.
Yes.
As a community business owner, that's what makes Spunky special.
Thank you.
To me, I think as small business owners, a big reason why we built Love Local. We started this in the beginning of COVID too, and we learned people's stories and within our community, people that had different thoughts and different ideas of what this world should look like. We're kind of being divided by the air, and on the ground, you saw people that are different struggling with the same things. But to me, the whole premise behind Love Local Media was like, if we could get awareness to our small businesses from our neighbors, and then we could have our neighbors go shop small. So whether it's Spunky Dunkers instead of Dunkin' Donuts, or, you know, the list could go on and on, but shop small, our dollars stay here. What I don't think people realize that work in corporate America, at least at scale, is that like the small businesses that are in our community give back, and they give back locally, so that our money stays here. When our money stays here, we could create more impact, and we could go deeper in our communities, and we could make sure that kids that are in our community are fed and that are taken care of. And like I said, and my hope is that more people want to be able to support this donut. Talk a little bit about it. We'll keep people guessing on what it looks like till later.
Yeah, so you don't want me to unveil anything?
You
right
can tell what the concept is.
Well,
They got to come in person.
I got to give a lot of credit to my staff, our managers, everybody that works for us now. We have an amazing staff, and it's taken us a while to get there. But over these last couple years, we've really got a unique family there, and everybody's pulling on the same end of the rope. Everybody's excited to be a part of everything. You know, like when I brought this, I'm like, yes, you know, let's do this. So when I came up with the idea for this particular donut, I had texted our manager, Mark, and I said, this is what I'm kind of looking for. Can you get this to me? And I didn't give him a time frame. I just said, can you just get this to me at some point? Within an hour, he had the donut. And it just is. And I said, you freaking nailed it. You just nailed it. That's exactly what I wanted it to look like. And I think you got to see it, and Jason, you got to see it. And yeah, it took my breath away because, and it just goes to show, you know, when you have good people working for you, you know, and they're pulling on the same
they
page,
believe in the mission.
everything else, it makes everything else a lot easier. So it makes it easier for me to come here and know that this is going to go off without a hitch because these people are there and they're taking care of the shop when I'm not there, my mom's not there, or my aunt's not there, you know. So it was awesome. So yeah, having saw that on my phone, my eyes got big and I just had a grin from ear to ear. And I was like, you nailed it, Mark. You did a good job.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful donut. It's going to taste even better than it looks. And we'll promote it as it's time to get out, too, to be able to share it with people so they could see what it looks like. But you got to go get it at the end of the day. And so we could tell people now kind of when is that going to roll out? We're saying Black Friday?
Yeah, Black Friday,
yeah.
I think is what we talked about, which is perfect. You know, it's that Friday leading, people are out. Some people still like to, my girlfriend's still a Black Friday shopper out on the town. She's dragging me out with her this year, so I'm not excited about getting up that early, but I do
people are
make
excited
donuts,
about donuts, dude.
so I get up early.
It's the
to
perfect donut to impress your house guests.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a
It
good point.
is a
bring home a
beautiful
box
donut.
full
It was
of
a beautiful donut. They really did a great job. I'm excited for the community to see it.
Yeah.
I was excited to show you guys the pictures today.
Yeah,
It's
an awesome donut. I'm looking forward for being able to people to see it. Can you at least explain what it's going to taste like? That's all you got. Like what type? There's different types of donuts, right?
For sure.
Give a little bit more tease.
Yeah, so it's a yeast donut, and to the layperson, that's the fluffy donut. The other kind is cake. So it's a yeast donut. It's a Bismarck, but it's not filled. With an icing and some magic on top.
Some
and
decor.
That's all I'll say. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna have to wait until we unveil it, but it's a pretty magical donut for a really important.
Definitely is, and I'm excited for it. I know I'm going to be there. I'm not going to go shopping on Black Friday. I'm going to be clear. I'm going to go get donuts and I'm going to go back home. But yeah, I love that you're open and giving up, all the proceeds for that.
100% of the proceeds are going to Blessings and Backpack. Again, everybody is really excited to be a part of this. Everybody jumped in. It wasn't just me. Everybody jumped in.
We know you didn't do much of the work, dude. You don't have to lie to us. We get it. Yeah, you're the idea guy.
It's
like around here. I don't do much of the work.
I'm only here because my mom and my aunt don't like being on camera. And
nobody wants to be the grouchy person that doesn't want to feed hungry kids.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and to get back to a little bit of Blessings in a Backpack. Since we decided to be a part of this and you brought it to my attention, because I had no idea, I really didn't, of the impact, the 7,000 kids. Like I said, if it's one, that's too many, right? So I started talking to more people in and around our community, my friends, family, stuff like that. Again, same, jaw-dropping, like, are you really? So it was... it's great to get that word out, and now that the word is kind of slowly trickling out, people are excited. But the most important question I guess I get back is when I talk to these people is like, well, I'd like to help out. How do we help out? I said, it can't be easier. You just go buy the donut. Go buy the donut, I mean, I think so many people want to help and so many people don't know how.
Right.
So this is another great thing about that. We've taken that, we made it super easy for them.
Right.
So this is going out in November. It's going to be out before Black Friday, and when people are going to be able to see this. And as of November 1st, SNAP benefits are being reduced, and the way that our kids are able to be fed is going to change. And who knows what it'll look like as we continue to evolve. But we do know there's a reduction of SNAP benefits that are available. So we already heard that there was a huge need in our community. You hear about what's happening with the SNAP benefits, and it's most likely going to end up being more kids that are going to need to be able to have this blessing and this support, and maybe even more support. And I think that probably is a talk for a different show. But for you, Elizabeth, with your experience, like how urgent do you feel this need is for local families that are going to need it?
It's going to be pressing. It's going to be pressing. There's just not going to be the food at home on the weekends. So fortunately,
let's be real. Maybe not during the week now. Costs are going up.
Right.
People aren't getting paid.
Right. Yes.
Things are changing and evolving. So
tight.
if you're not, what we learned from Patty at Lincoln Elementary is like you get free and reduced lunches at
Virginia Lake,
for $42,000 or less a year. I think is what she said.
For a family of four.
For a family of four.
Family of four.
That's nothing.
Yes, a single parent with one child is making under $20,000 a year to be eligible for free lunch.
Yeah, so you're already struggling. You're already just getting by. So these things are going to only suppress that even more, which is super sad. So Elizabeth, what does it do for a child when they have food waiting for them over the weekend? How does it impact their learning, their mood, and even their sense of safety?
Yeah, it goes beyond having a full belly. It really does, because having a full belly is important. It helps you focus. It helps you grow. It helps you in so many ways. But beyond that, it gives certainty. It takes away that anxiety, that worry about what the weekend is going to look like for them. So as of right now, kids are still able to get free breakfast and lunch at school. But when the weekend comes, they're not sure if anyone's going to be home to help them prepare food. Maybe mom or dad is working a second or third job. Maybe there just really isn't much in the pantry or in the fridge. And so the model that we have is sending home individual single-serve food that kids have the agency to know, no matter what's going on at home, no matter what's available or not available, I have this bag of food that I can open and I can eat without anyone needing to help me anytime I feel hungry. And having that certainty and removing that worry from them. They have some complex home life situations, our Blessings kids do. There's a lot that's beyond their control that they don't know what's going to happen from day to day. So to know it's Friday, I'm taking my food home, and I'm taking this food home every Friday for the whole school year. That's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah. The anxiety, a kid like that will leave trauma within their body for the rest of their life until
they're on high alert. They're on high alert without realizing they're on high alert. Their nervous system is on overdrive, and that can spill out into problems getting along with their peers, problems with authority, just a whole host of things. And our teachers that receive Blessings and give it to their students tell us they get a calmer classroom. Once these kids aren't ramped up on Friday, they do better on their schoolwork, on their tests on Fridays. They actually attend school more often on Fridays because they know they're going to get the blessing in their backpack.
Yeah. It's we talked before, I was humbled by learning about Virginia Lake Elementary School, and because that's pretty close to my house. And to find out that was it half of
150
those?
kids.
150 of those kids are eligible for free and reduced lunch.
Oh, more than that. 150 are getting Blessings.
Oh, getting Blessings.
Yeah,
so more
and that's
of them
not
have
all
the
of them.
need.
Yeah.
So they thought it was half the school. Is what I was saying. Half the school is in need of this.
Yes.
I was humbled, and to me, because I didn't know that as a neighbor. I didn't know that, and there's a lot of people some people out there, hopefully there's not a lot, that will say, oh, it's not my problem, they're not my kids, or it's whatever it is, but It is, right? It is your problem. If your kids are going to school with them, they're going to, you're hangry as an adult. Like he was hangry when we first came in. He's not, it wasn't pretty, I had to calm him down.
We know when we're going to eat next.
Yeah.
We know that feeling is going to come to an end relatively soon because we can provide that for ourselves, whether it's in the next half hour, but to not know when that, there's 65 hours from lunch on Friday until breakfast on Monday. And to have that be an unknown 65 hours, that's pretty stressful.
For sure. How do you think more awareness around helping feed kids can help? Like, how can it shift that perspective to make sure that people know that there is a need in our community? And even if it's not your kid, it's still impacting your kid.
I think just viewing kids through the lens of these are the people with the least amount of agency to help themselves. Like, they can't go get a job. They can't, they are dependent on the kindness of others, whether it's their parents or people in their community. And everyone is part of a community. Everyone lives in a town. Everyone is a contributor to their community. And this is a basic need that needs to be met. And when you help kids that are hungry, you're not just helping them, you're helping their parents. Every parent loves their kid. Whether you can provide food for your child or not, that is a universal tenet that parents love their kids and they want to do right by them and they want to provide for them. And so you're not just helping feed kids, you're helping ease the burden of the other parents in your community by coming alongside them and saying, you know what, I got this. You're in a season right now. You can't do it. I'm going to help you do it.
We all just did a little bit, right? And some of us are more blessed than others. Some people go through rough patches. Some people are just in rough patches. It's just what a part of this human experience is. Everybody's unique, but we come together collectively and just do a little bit. If we all just did a little bit, I feel like our world would shift. And to me, I look at our world right now and I'm like, there's a lot going on out there. There's a lot of things that we can't control. What we can control is what's in our backyard and in our front yard here in our local community. And knowing that there's this need in our community, I feel like as neighbors, we should have no other choice to be able to roll up our sleeves. And at the end of the day, like people have heard me say over the last 5 years, we're stronger together. And it also takes a village. And I truly believe that those things are true in order to have thriving communities. But it's going to take all of us to be able to do that and to be able to kind of rise up, to be able to make sure that like no child is left behind. It's kind of like what you said, like we all have our part to do, right? Like, and to me, that's so important for us to keep in mind. We talk about like it takes a village to you, Frank. Like, what does that mean for you? Like and especially when it comes to kids, like what do you like? How does it inspire you? Does it like what is it?
Well, it's funny. Excuse me. It takes a village. I read that this morning from a message from one of my daughter's best friend's father. And my daughter's in competition this next weekend, and everybody's really excited. And his message to me was, we love Izzy. She's like a part of our family. And, you're doing a great job. Give her a hug for us. And he ended it with, it takes a village. I might get a little emotional here because, I'm divorced. My ex-wife and I are great friends, so she lives in Iowa. My kids have to go back and forth. And a lot of times, having that time away from them, you're dependent on not just, my ex-wife, but other people in their atmosphere, right? And when I read that this morning, it brought a tear to my eye because he's right. It does take a village, and when you pull back the scope and you start thinking about everybody else, not just my situation, but everybody's situation, it does take a village. Why else are we here if we can't help one another? What are we doing if we can't take care of one another? My girlfriend's kids, I love them to death. They have a father, he's an amazing father, but when they're with her and I'm there, like, I'm loving on them just like they're my own kids, So when you're asking me it takes a village, those are the things I think about. And in a bigger scope, it's the things that, like, for these particular kids, they didn't ask to be put in that situation, and their parents didn't ask to be put in the situation they were in.
Correct.
So how fair is that?
Right.
And unfortunately, it's not.
Yeah.
But what can we do about it? Well, we're going to do something about it. And I think, Elizabeth, you asked me how long are we going to do this for, and my answer to you was as long as it takes. Because...
Which is pretty amazing, by the way.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, because one child hungry is not
too many.
okay.
One child is
it's
too
not
many.
okay.
Yeah. And for the kids, their village is really their school. That's their community. Adult, in Palatine, I'm part of the Palatine community. Kids' world is small because they're small and they go to school and they come home and they go other places. But they're at school more waking hours than they're anywhere else. And the people at their school, that's their community. Those are their people. Those adults, those are their trusted adults. And receiving their blessing in a backpack at school is really just cementing that bond between them and their teacher and their school and their parents and the school, and it's fostering that relationship between them. And blessings in a backpack is really just the conduit to get that food to them. But what's more important is that they know that their teacher cares about them and is in their corner. Their school is in their corner. They've got them. We've got you.
Yeah, and sometimes we've heard throughout this conversation, people think it's a backpack, but it's food to put in their backpack, right? So it's not like we're, raising this food for like to call out kids that need it, and
it's very
hidden.
It's very private, and we make sure that their dignity is preserved. We count on them to already have a backpack when they start the school year through whatever means, and the food comes in a bag. When the kids are out of the classroom at music or art or recess, that's when we ask the teachers to just quietly put that food into the backpacks of the kids that need it, zip it up, and it's just between them and their teacher.
Yeah, it's to me, it is truly a blessing. And when I think of it, it takes a village, and I really, my brain goes usually to like, what could it look like? And I'm usually a forward thinker, and I think about like, well, what if our village did come together? What if our community did come together off of this donut, and we helped fight childhood hunger collectively and together? What could our community look like? Not only are we going to feed kids, but what could we learn about each other?
Yeah.
And to me, that gives me a lot of hope, and it gives me a reason to like do more collaborations like this, so that we can truly bring like what's real to life, and with a helping hand. Because there's a lot of business owners that are out there, not all of them, but there's a lot of them that are like your mom and your aunt, like you, that want to do a good thing. And there's other nonprofits that are out there that want to do good and want to be able to help. Childhood hunger is like only one part of our issue as a community, and for me, I think that's where we start, because it's kids. Like, I don't know any other way to say it. Like, kids shouldn't feel like they don't know where their food's going to come from.
And like Frank said, they didn't choose this.
No.
They didn't choose this.
They definitely did. And their parents are just doing the best that they can.
Yes.
And if people are out there judging and those types of things, I just ask and pray that those people look in first before they point outwards, because you don't know somebody else's story unless you've been in it.
Well, and even people whose children aren't eligible at this time for free and reduced lunch. Many people are 1 or 2 paychecks away from being in a situation. You might look at yourself and think, well, we're making it.
Totally.
We're getting by. We haven't missed a mortgage payment. It only takes one unfortunate occurrence to find yourself in a season.
We're stronger together.
Yes.
And we could help childhood hunger, and we could get donuts at the same time.
Right.
It's pretty awesome. What's your hope, like, for what this campaign could spark in our community? And I want to hear both of your perceptions on this. And each one of you first, who wants to go.
Well, my hope has always been that by being a part of this and getting the word out, that it trickles down to other parts of people's lives, that they see that not only is this an issue, but there's other issues. And And like I said earlier, like what are we doing here if we can't help one another? And I think for me, if that's what comes out of this, that would be a huge win. If people start trying to be a part of something, a part of something positive, something moving forward, taking care of one another. If that's what the message that people get out of this, for me, that's a win. And I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it, because that's, I'm a very positive person. And I like to think the good that's going to happen. I don't dwell in the negative. So when I think about that, that's what I see happening, and it's beautiful. And so that's, like I said, if that's what comes out of it, that's a huge win. It's a huge win.
I agree. What's your thoughts?
These are challenging times. I think a lot of people, even if they're doing all right, are kind of had the blinders on, and like, I just need to stay in my lane. I just need to stay in my lane and get through and take care of my family, tend to my own sheep. But when you take those blinders off and you open your heart, there's so much joy, and it can be so rewarding to know that you're helping.
Totally. There's a lot of fear that's out there now,
Yeah.
and I think there's many people that have it in different different lanes, different areas, and that's all real.
Yeah.
It's a lot going on, to say the least. Yeah. I had a show in here yesterday with a leadership coach and local body shop owner and a speaker as well, really strong leader. And we were talking about, like, if we all just do a little bit, and if we all, like, we might not be able to do much, but if we just go buy one donut, and if all of us do that, and the ripple effect that will happen throughout our community could be abundant. But if we're just staying in our silos, and if we're staying in isolation because we're fearful or we don't know, to me, that makes me really nervous. But I would also say that, like, what you put out into the world comes back to you, and it might not come back to you in a form of a donut, but it's going to come back to you in some way. So go do good. And what better way to do that than to support a small business that is going to donate 100% of their proceeds to being able to help make an impact here. And to me, it's one donut. You could buy 6 or you could buy 12, right? Yeah. Like, that's
it's unlimited. We're not going to hold you to.
Well, 6, 12.
I mean, we might not have like 5 dozen on hand. You might have to wait while we make a
special order.
But yes, you definitely can call ahead when this releases, and order ahead of time, because that brings up a good point. It's like, we might not have 5 dozen available, and if somebody wants to come and order that many, that's awesome, and we're grateful. But if it's going to be over 2 dozen, please, definitely call ahead, so we make sure that those donuts are there, not only for you, but also that you don't take all of our stock for the people that are coming in and just wanting to buy a couple.
Right.
Because every single one counts. We want to make sure that we have it available for everybody. Yeah. So if you're making big orders, please call first.
I think about this as going out, right after Thanksgiving. So, like, I feel like there's holiday parties for people. There's people bringing in donuts or things into their office around the holidays. There's teachers in their teachers' lounges. The list could go on and on. What I'm hearing you say is give you a call, and you can make how many ever they want. Yeah. But to give you a heads up so that you make sure that they have everything that they need.
Yeah, we'd like to be able to have the donut available for every single person that comes in and wants to buy one. If you want to buy, like I said, multiple dozens, please call the day before or at least a few hours before, so we have plenty of time to get those ready for not only you, but have extra stock there for the people that are coming in and just going to buy a couple. And I'll say this too, when we talk about what we'd like to get out of this or anything like that, and I think there are a lot of people that just really don't know where to start. I want to help. This does take that kind of edge or thinking about it away. They don't have to think; they just go in and get it. Right. But the other thing too is I think people, and another thing I think I hope comes from this is that when people purchase this donut, they instantly know that they're a part of something, and there's a feeling that happens inside you, right, when you do something good, something positive, something from the heart, right? And that is an emotion that if I could bottle that up and sell that, I'd be a billionaire, right? And I think, and I hope that there's people sitting on their couch that are watching this and like, wow, I'm going to do that. And they have that feeling. And when they walk out that door, that feeling of love overcomes them, positivity.
A kid just ate this weekend
A kid just
of me.
ate
I was
because
sitting
of
here
me,
thinking
right.
about the donuts and what they cost and what it costs us to feed kids. 3 donuts is going to send a kid home with food for the weekend. 3 donuts. It's not as expensive as people might think to send a kid home with weekend food every week. It's $170 to feed one kid for the whole school year.
Wow.
Which is, in our world, like 2 pieces of designer clothing.
Right. Just this little bit. It's all of us just doing a little bit.
And to give a kid certainty and hope and remove that little piece of stress is priceless.
Yeah, amen. What else does the community need to hear as we get ready to wrap up? What else? Anything else that you think people need to hear about this? I feel like we touched on so much. I can't think of anything personally.
I'm just excited to see this tip off a trickle effect in Palatine.
Yeah.
I mean, Cork and Fork started it up with us and raising awareness for feeding kids in Palatine. Frank has jumped on. I would love to see some more businesses just see how it can, not only the good and the joy that can come from knowing you're feeding kids, but how it can also benefit their business. I definitely personally want to give my patronage to a business that I know cares about the community.
Yeah, amen to that. I appreciate you both here, and I'm excited for this just to be the start of it. And I think it's going to be a movement, and we're going to start it with donuts.
Yes.
So
it's a sweet movement.
I appreciate both of
right?
your hearts. Our team here at Love Local appreciates both of your hearts and your want to be able to do good in the world and to make our communities stronger places to live by helping our kids. So important. So, my friends, it's time to get off your couch and get going. Our kids in our community need support. Probably going to need our support more than what we're talking about as we continue to go and move forward. During this time in history, we have an opportunity to be able to help kids and do that with organizations like Blessings in a Backpack, the Chicago chapter. Now we get to do it with a local business that loves making donuts and is damn good at it too. I ask that you go buy some donuts and you are a part of this movement. Frank and I are going to have some fun with our Love Local team. This podcast is just the start of it. We believe that we are stronger together. We believe that if we work together to be able to tell stories and to get messages out there, that we could create some good in this world. Here's the deal. We need more of you to think like that. And I know it's a scary time for some. And I hope and pray that you just find the courage to do a little bit. I don't think you have to do much. But if we all just do a little bit, especially around childhood hunger, we could create a movement where no child feels like they don't know where their next meal is coming from, especially on the weekends with Blessings in a Backpack services. So my friends, support local, love local. We're starting together. Go get your donut on, it's going to be right after Thanksgiving. They're going to have them. If you want to buy a whole bunch of them, which I hope you do, give Frank a call or give his team a call and they'll make some for you. But appreciate you all so much. And thank you for watching. Have a great day. Peace.